All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. This is going to be a lesson on this particular video that I saw here, which is entitled "Things That Make a Man's Life Miserable." And this guy here, AMS, which stands for Alpha Male Strategies, and he pretty much is going into 10 things that make a man's life miserable. And these are pretty much 10 things that make an Israelite man's life miserable, right? These are mainly things that he mentions that affect Israelite men, right? They don't really affect the heathen nations as much, man, right? And this particular guy, AMS himself anyway, is an Israelite, right? Which means that he's one of the chosen of God. Whether he accepts that or not, that's up to him. But he is an Israelite, right? But he was going into some things in this video that make a man's life miserable. I'm trying to think of some of the things he said. I know that one of them was not having savings, right? Another one was like being with a woman that's not necessarily that attractive, but then you stumble upon other women in your day-to-day life that are far more attractive than your own woman, right? And then your woman's gonna try and like sulk or try and say that you're cheating on her or you're adulterous or whatever, even if you look at the other woman, right? And these are things that I thought was quite proper hilarious in this video, because these are things that we ain't gonna have to deal with in the kingdom, man. Like, these are things that we have to worry about now, and these are things that bother us and trouble us now. And these are also the things that cause us to sigh and cry for the abominations that are done in the midst of. So let me go to a scripture, right? Because the things that he was going into, although they was funny, right, and he was putting it in a comedic way, it still is annoying, man, that in this world we ain't able to be what we are, man. This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that we done in the midst of. So us catching hell in this world is a blessing. Because imagine if every single person that caused it, imagine if when you said you're a Hebrew Israelite, right, you got £1 million put into your bank, right? You got £1 million put into your bank account, and you got given a house. You think that everyone wouldn't be all of a sudden wanting to claim they're an Israelite all of a sudden? Everyone would want to be an Israelite if you got money and you got paid for being it. But because you catch hell for being an Israelite, people therefore don't want to do it. People don't want to even accept that they're an Israelite, because the world might look at them sideways. You know what I mean? People don't want to accept that their lineage could possibly go back to the Negroes, right? Because there's a lot of people over here in this island of the UK, right, that they know without a shadow of a doubt that their family lineage from their father's side goes back to so-called black people, and they just hide it, right? There's people that know this. They know for a fact their father, they know that their father will be so-called mixed race, according to what they'll say, and then they've seen pictures of their granddad, and their granddad might be looking like Jamal Brown around here, man, like some dark-skinned Tyrone type character, you know what I mean, Matumbe Brown or whatever. Their granddad's, let me just use a standard name, man, Wesley Snipes. You know, their granddad might be looking like Wesley Snipes or Morgan Freeman around here, but they'll be like, nah, I'm not. I'm Elizabeth. My name is Betty. I'm not gonna go back to that, because they've able to some kind of supplant that they're another nation, and then they try and think they can blend in, but really they still end up catching hell anyway, because you can't escape the curses, because Yahweh's gonna put on you that you're an Israelite, regardless of whether you want to try and think you can try and escape from it anyway, man. Yahweh ain't allowing no one to escape the curses. But like I was just saying, catching hell is what causes for us to sigh and cry for the abominations that are done in this wicked place anyway, man. Right? So let me go to some more. Because he mentioned as well women causing are one of the things that cause for a man's life to be miserable. But that's one of the curses, is our women. And a few of them was regarding around women, to be fair. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse, let me jump to 15 to prove what I'm talking about first. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe to do his commandments, to observe to do all his commandments, and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So when you jump down to verse 56, it goes into our women, who is going to be a problem for us. Verse 56, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Her eye shall be even towards the husband of her bosom, and towards her son, and towards her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh from between her feet, and towards her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straightness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in the gate. So in this world, right, a woman's a snare unto us, man. Because you might stumble upon a woman that is somewhat attractive, but then she's a demon anyway. She's evil. She's wicked. She's overly proud. She's OnlyFansing it off. She's Instagramming it off. She's Facebooking it off, Twittering it off. You know what I mean? She's a social media mogul in her mind because she's got 1,000 followers and 1,000 followers and she's only following 5 people or something like that. So she thinks she's a star because the ratio is more followers than following. So in her mind, she's a star. You know what I mean? When that followers stuff don't mean nothing anyway. That's not a sign of your moral code. That's not even necessarily a sign of your bank balance. You know what I mean? But it's just the lust of people who want to hear what I've got to say that makes these people be proud, man. Right? And he was going into how the women cause us to be miserable in this world. And then I remember there was this video that was floating around yesterday, right? And it's an Israelite woman, and she's like dancing with next to like either an Ishmaelite woman or an Elamite, like an Indian or an Arab woman, right? And they're like dancing, and the Arab woman or the Ishmaelite or whatever or the Elamite woman, she's like wearing a long gown covering her legs, right? She's like wearing jewels on her arms and stuff like that, and it looks way classier than what the woman from our nation's wearing, man. And the woman from our nation is in some booty shorts, a crop top with long sleeves, fucking red hair, right, with rainbow colours on the crop top and rainbow colours on the shorts, and then she's trying to show this other woman how to twerk on it, and then the woman said, "Nah, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to dance like that." But she was trying to get her to dance like that, and that's all she had to show her, man. All she had to show this woman is that. But if you would have had that woman try and show her culture, she would have showed that woman some of the spices that they use for cooking. She would have showed her some of the things that they use for healing, some of the herbs they use for healing. She would have showed them a cultural dance that a man and a woman do together, rather than some jucky girl, juck. We, all that fucking bullshit that our people be doing. Fucking 5-star frog splash off the top turnbuckle onto a woman's back for a dance. Fucking putting a brick on her back. And what's that got to do with dancing? Like the Benjamites, I don't know what that's got to do with dancing, man. But the tribe of Benjamin is off. Because now I'm thinking about that, and that's getting on my nerves too. That our people, the tribe of Benjamin in particular, they flipping set the woman on fire and start dancing. What's that got to do with dancing, man? But these other people, they have their own cultures that they accept and they follow after these things. And we've got our own culture as Israelites, but our women ain't trying to hear that, man. They're trying to celebrate Christmas. They're trying to celebrate their birthday, and they're trying to make their own culture be whatever they want to like doing. So she liked twerking, so that's her culture. You know what I mean? Another thing that he mentioned, let me go back to the video and see if I can remember just by looking at the video. Another thing that he mentioned was that we don't have no savings, right? And that's how one of the curses that goes into our curse is going to be our basket and our store, which is in Deuteronomy chapter 28 as well. And let me go further into that. In fact, let me go a bit more. This is Haggai chapter 1 and verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, these people say, the time is not come that the time of Yahweh's house should be built. Then came the word of Haggai, the prophet, saying, let me go back to that, in fact. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, saying, these people say, the time is not come, that the time is not come, the time that Yahweh's house shall be built. And that's what a lot of our people are thinking right now, even as well. They're thinking, it's not the time that Yahweh's house should be built, man. We believe that the kingdom's going to come, but it's not going to happen in our lifetime. Yeah, I believe that still, bruv. But what I'm saying is, it's not going to happen in our lifetime, though, bruv. Ain't it done? Nah, done. It's not happening in our time. That's a next time. They don't want to believe. No one ever wants to believe that it's going to happen in their time. But it's got to happen in someone's damn time, doesn't it? It's got to happen in someone's lifetime, doesn't it? I bet the people in when Noah was making his ark, they didn't think it was going to happen in their lifetime. They was laughing. They was thinking it's never going to rain, right? They was thinking rain from out the sky. That's some madness. They didn't believe it could rain. They didn't know anything about rain. You see what I mean? They thought that rain was a myth. But rain came from the sky and caused people to drown to death. That's what happened. Rain came from the sky and caused for people to drown to death, man. All right? Verse 3. Then came the word of Haggai then came the word of Yahweh by Haggai the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? So the reason why we ain't rich, boiling beyond our wildest dreams, is because Yahweh is saying, is it time for us to even be doing that? No, it ain't. Verse 5. Now therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. So we ain't balling out here, man. We ain't got no savings account. Now this guy, AMS, he in particular, has got a bit of money, right? But even he, if he was to stand in front of our apostles, right, and was to get asked about how he's coping in his world, I guarantee he'd start noticing eventually that there's some bullshit going on. You know what I mean? He'd start noticing that there's that BS going on, man. He'd start noticing that he's catching hell too. He'd realize that actually this place ain't really doing him as much favors as is what it really could be. And he used to catch hell in the past, which is why he was able to speak on these things anyway. But at the end of every Israelite's life, the hell's gonna come anyway, man. Right? Whether you have a nice life in the middle, the end's always catching hell anyway. And I remember there was a thing that Apostle Tahar said based on the curses, and it was it was pretty hilarious when he said when he said when he said it when the scripture came out that it says curse you're gonna be going and curse when you're gonna go out. He said what did he say when he said you're gonna be cursed when you go in and you're gonna get a foot in it, a foot in the ass on the way out. And it's true, man. That's what happens to all of our people, man. They think that they've found a loophole and they're a bit rich in that, but on the way out of their ass gets a foot in the ass on the way out, man. Yeah, they're cursed when they go in. And like the apostle said, man, they're gonna get a foot in the ass on the way out, man. And you do get a foot in the ass on the way out in this society. Verse 7. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith Yahweh. And right now the building is spiritual though, right? This was talking about the ancient building of a physical temple, but this new temple is going to be spiritual. It ain't going to be made with hands. Verse 9, ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little, and when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why, saith Yahweh of hosts? Because of mine house that is waste, and ye run every man to his own house. And that's why Yahweh causes us to catch hell right now, because his house ain't built. He requires a people that are supposed to be a sign of his own immortality. And let me get that scripture, in fact, and I'm going to end the lesson there, because the reasons why all of our lives are miserable is because we ain't doing the things that we're supposed to be doing for the Lord. But when we do those things, then our lives ain't going to be miserable no more. Let me get this scripture to end this lesson. Because we're not supposed to die, right? We're supposed to have as many fine women as we want to have, right? We're supposed, all these women that we see that we're walking by, that whatever particular brother thinks of a woman that he thinks is attractive. Because brothers might like women that are different. Some brothers might like women that are 15 stone. I don't. But some brother out there might like women that are 15 stone. Some brothers might like women that like are very, very, very skinny, like 7 stone or whatever they think skinny is, but we might not. Another brother might not. Then some brothers might all have the same archetype of what women they think. But how it's supposed to be for us as Israelite men is as many women as we find attractive, we're supposed to be able to have. And as many things that this earth's good has and contains in it, we're supposed to have access to all of that. But we're only going to get access to that new heavens and that new earth when Edom gets destroyed, Yahweh Shai returns, right? And we get put under the new covenant and get changed. That's when we're going to have the proper enjoyment of the earth that was made for our sakes, according to what 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter says. This is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 and verse 23. For God made man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. So Yahweh requires us to become immortals. That's what Yahweh is waiting to give unto us. He don't want us to die, man. He wants us to be immortal in that godly fashion. But we have to go through the hell first, like it says in I think it's 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter, where it says that there's a place built, the entry's narrow, but the end of it is broad and it's beautiful and it's a nice place. Even so is Israel's portion. But I'm going to end the lesson there, man. Right? All praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. Shalom.